Can Hannah hear us? We'll do a little test.
Yes, I can.
Okay, good.
Nice. All right. Well, I call this meeting to order. Let's see. Did we make sure that the Kansas Open Meetings Act had been properly provided?
Yes, it has been.
Perfect. All right. Thank you. And then let's continue to roll call.
All right, Chair Grinter.
Present.
Vice Chair Godsey.
Present.
Commissioner Canales.
Present.
Commissioner Rivers.
Present.
Commissioner Africa. Commissioner Kuchel.
Present.
Commissioner Mai.
Present.
Commissioner Tage Hurd. And then our Commissioner Owens. And that's it.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Let's move on to approval of minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
Perfect. Any second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All right, and then we'll move right along to new business, and seeing none, we'll go on to our public hearing items.
There was nothing was scheduled, Commissioner Grinter.
Oh, perfect, great. All right, and then administrative items are next, and let's start with the introduction of new members.
Well, as you know, we have 3 new members, 2 adult commissioners, official commissioners, and 1 youth on board. Just for introduction purposes to kind of get them acquainted. I know some of you have introduced, but maybe for the record we'll introduce, maybe starting with Commissioner Canales and kind of going around because that works nicely. The newest person is on the end, and then I'll announce and tell you a little bit about the 2 that aren't here tonight.
Is there something specific that you would like?
Just your name.
Okay. I'm Claudia Canales.
Okay.
It's welcome.
Glenn Godsey, nice to meet you.
Chris Grinter.
Sherry Kushel. And I'm Brenda Mai.
Okay. Welcome. And then we have Kayla Tag Hurd is not here tonight, and Olivia Owings is the youth on board, and she's gone for spring break. So she hopefully will join us next month.
Okay.
So that, and I'm Michelle Martin. I'm the Community Relations Supervisor.
And then I'm Marissa Patton. I am a Community Relations Specialist.
Okay. And so Marissa is the clerk for the board, and I'm the liaison for the board. So whenever you have questions or anything, you can reach out to us, and we'll try and help it, and we try and make the meetings go smoothly at night. So welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I had a question. So, Brenda, and what is the second adult that joined?
Kayla.
Kayla. All right. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to explanation of case determination process and new member training.
Yes, with the new membership, we thought it was important to kind of go over a little bit about how we kind of work and what we do here, just to briefly. We don't go into a lot of detail because the cases are confidential during the investigation process. We can't keep everything confidential, but we try to, and we don't discuss during the public meeting much detail about the cases. What we really operate on is when we have something that's ready for what we call determination, we randomly select 3 and we make sure they don't have a conflict, and then those 3 commissioners will be sent a packet of information on the investigation and will reach back out to us with a decision. And normally we have a training scheduled, and we won't, I think it's too complicated to have anyone be in those random 3 selections until you've had that training. So, and I know we just sent one out today, and we will, in my case report, not to blow that, but we will send one out here pretty soon. And until we have the trainings complete, we won't be able to select randomly the 2 new commissioners to make sure that you kind of understand the process and how it goes. With that being said, we were discussing, because you need a quorum in order to have, normally what they've done in the past is have a study session after the first meeting, and it usually takes 2 study sessions to complete all of our training. It's probably a total of 3 hours. Now, some of that is combined with what all the commissioners get. Every year they have a training that every commissioner gets through the city. It's kind of, we have ours, and our department has 9 boards and commissions or something, 9 or something like that. It's quite a few. So we kind of have a format of what we train on that's been our department head has created one, and we all kind of follow that. So this commission's training has that plus the probably 2 hours plus of training that we do just specific for this commission to be able to hear those cases and make those decisions. So what we discussed, because people have just kind of done it and we didn't want to have to force a quorum for people that had just done it, we decided this is now an opportune time. We're going to try and do some filming of this and videotape it. So then next year for this commission, hopefully what we will do is you won't have to stay as long. You'll have the standard training that everyone does. We'll still have one study session, but it probably can be done in a half hour, and you won't have 2 long study sessions, 2 meetings in a row. We are scheduled tomorrow is Wednesday. Thursday, I'm scheduled to start filming that training so that we can do it. What we envision is maybe doing 3 or 4 videos in shorter chunks and doing a little exam after them just to make sure people kind of understand it. It won't be hard, but to make sure there aren't any questions and to verify someone has done it. We do not have slick programs like most universities where it will be embedded in the video. What we'll probably do is send out 2 parts. Here's a link to a video. When you're done, here's I don't know if we'll use SurveyMonkey or Seamless Docs or something we already have. We're not going to be able to invest in a program that allows like the fancy ones the universities use now. So it'll just be pretty standard. It'll be probably, I'm trying to look at dividing them into 30-minute segments and then doing a quiz. And that way it's not so long either. And then once you've completed all those and I've got those quizzes back, then we would put your name in for being able to do that. When it will get done, I cannot promise. I just know I'm up to filming starting on Thursday. So I have to finish getting ready for that tomorrow, and then we'll be trying it. So we'll see how that works, and if it works pretty well, that's something that will save us time for the whole committee in the future, that you can be able to divvy those up, and you can hopefully use it as a resource. If you forget something and you want to go back, it should be a nice tool. So we're going to try this. We decided instead of trying to gather everyone again and get a quorum for a study session to do the new training, we're going to try this. So that's the update on the training. Wish us luck. Hopefully we'll have it, and we will email everyone on the board when it comes out, when we're ready, so that everyone's aware. And then Commissioner Mai and Commissioner Hurd will use them as the guinea pigs, I guess, to see how this goes. I don't know if there are any other questions on it, but that's our plan. And we'll see if we can get it done. My goal would be, and I hope, we'll see how the filming team and the editing team can get it together too. My hope is we'd at least have them to you before the next meeting, so you'd be able to, get through them. Hopefully, we'll see.
Okay.
So, but that should enable you not to have to. It should be easier on your schedule too to be able to get them in.
Thanks for working on that. Yeah, that is something that I don't want to say we dread, but it's something that we have a hard time scheduling around because, if we don't have a quorum, then we wait. And
Yeah.
I think it was kind of late this last year, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a little. I think we had to not do it the very first meeting. We had to skip a meeting, so then just trying to get everyone in the next 2 meetings. And
Yeah, so that'll be good. Thank
Yeah.
you. All right, next is docket review and update of case status.
yes, and I kind of alluded to this a little bit, but we just sent one today. So we usually give about a week for those case reviews. I mean, it can be a little flexible sometimes, but we try 5 to 7 days to review. I like to give people at least a weekend. So if you're working, you have the weekend to kind of look at it. Because I know sometimes it's kind of hard otherwise. If it happens to be sooner, we have specific deadlines from HUD that we'll go over a little bit, but that's why if we say we need it by a certain time, it's because we're trying to meet those deadlines. If we have some flexibility, we'll work with people, but we'll be sending out a reminder. And, if for some reason you can't do it, we'd rather you just say up front, hey, this does not work for me. And it's not a jury. It's not like jury pools. We won't arrest people or, for no showing or anything like that. We'll just say, okay, we'll put you in for the next time. And if we have 2 cases going, Before, we just had 6 individuals, so we try and not put the same on both cases if they were going simultaneously. That doesn't happen very often, but we did have once, so we tried to make sure one person didn't end up with both cases, because they can be a lot to review sometimes, depending on the situation, but generally there's a lot of information kind of put in there. That being said, we have one we sent today, one we will probably send next week is our goal. Hopefully next week we'll get that finalized. We have one case that is pending for Monday. It goes to the attorney to start the litigation process on it and goes to administrative hearing because it's already had probable cause. We've been trying to conciliate. If we don't have conciliation, at least some movement where I think it's going to happen, I've said Monday it goes to the attorney. And then one case we just had signed on a negotiation today, so it can be closed out. That being said, I kind of try and let people know the status of where we are in most of the cases. We probably have, well, there's one other potential filing that I can think of that's pending, and then that's pretty much it. We're kind of getting towards the end of what we have currently going. I'll go through, we color-coded these. So the first one is employment, and it's a blue one. We don't have any employment cases, so they scheduled one that no-showed, and that's the only one we've had so far this year. Then the housing cases are our primary area, and for the information of Commissioner Mai, we have a contract with HUD, so we are considered a HUD. We are an arm of HUD with that contract. We do their housing and discrimination investigations by that contract with HUD, which we call our FAP. It's Fair Housing Assistance Program is what that stands for, but we are a FAP partner of HUD. So that's where a lot of our cases are, our primary focus, and with that, I mean, we do get reimbursed from HUD for doing those investigations. So all the cases that I discussed and talked about were all in housing. So that's where we are. That's pretty much the status of the ones pending. There is still one pending with the DOJ. We have no idea. The Department of Justice will sometimes take up cases. The Department of Justice has authority to enforce different cases under the Housing Act. They can enforce that in other discrimination cases along with HUD. They have what they call dual enforcement capabilities. So the Department of Justice has an initiative right now that any sex retaliation cases they're kind of looking at, and depending on that. And so they requested to take up one of our cases clear back in October is when it was filed, and I'm trying to think, it wasn't long after it was filed that they made that request and asked us to stop investigating, and we haven't heard anything since. So I do hope that someday we will, but I don't know how to even get through to them right now. Even our HUD representative, we have a liaison from HUD. His name is Viraj, VJ, and he doesn't have any idea either. So we're kind of in the dark. We just know we're not supposed to be doing anything, and they aren't holding this timeline against us because we have a very short timeline. They have exceeded all those dates of our timeline for investigation. But that kind of updates you, I think, on most of these cases. And when we do that training, I'll try and go over a little bit. In fact, I don't know that I always do, but I'll try and go over the docket a little bit more in depth on what these mean, what certain things mean. Then the last section we've had no inquiries since the last time we met, the public accommodation. And I would note that a lot of times from the past, a public accommodation discrimination, any inquiries have generally led to a phone call from our office reaching out to the entity, and it's usually been resolved. There haven't been that many historically filed under public accommodation, which I think is a good thing, that we usually gets it resolved with a phone call, so we haven't had to go through and file and actually do an investigation. But that's the status of all the cases at this time.
Great. Thank you. Move on to preliminary discussion items, but since we don't have any, move to
You skipped the fair housing seminar.
Oh, I'm sorry. I checked it.
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
fine, that's fine.
Yes, if we can get an update on the 2023 Fair Housing Seminar.
And again, we are set for April 28th, the last Friday of April. Since April is Fair Housing Month, traditionally our office has done a fair housing seminar in April. This year we kind of decided, we've set last year and based on some of the historical data, Fridays are a good day. We kind of decided to stick with the last Friday of the month unless something like COVID or something, disrupts it. That way we know in advance, we can announce and kind of get people used to and conditioned to it's the last Friday if you want to go. And so hopefully we will have a good turnout this year. We've kind of broadened. Last year was our first year in the department, and we reached out to primarily people in Saline County. A few people outside kind of found out, because I know we had someone from as far away as Belleville attend, an attorney from Belleville attended. But this year we kind of broadened that, kind of went around to some counties that we thought, and we are putting it in some other publications that might reach outside of Saline County, just because we thought we could this year and see if we can get some more attendance. Right now we don't have as many signed up as I would like, but we are hopefully, people have been talking about it a little more, so we'll see if we can get those last minute signups to do. But we did get as many sponsors as last year and doing well on the sponsorships and that. We do ask any of our boards, since we in our Office of Community Relations have two boards, this board, the HRC, the Human Relations Commission, and the AAB, the Accessibility Advisory Board. We have booths for both of them, both of those entities and try and advertise for more commissioners and let people know what we do and that kind of stuff. So we have booths prepared and set up at the event. And we ask any commissioner that wants to attend to feel free to come and just, help out at the booth, or if you want to attend the seminar, if you need credits. If you are wanting to eat lunch, that's the only thing we ask is paid. If the commissioners would just cover their lunch. For just a lunch, it's $10. So that's what we ask for some of the booth members. If they, didn't do a sponsorship that includes meals, they just $10 for the meal. But you are welcome to come and stay all day as much as you want, any of that. Come work at the booths.
Where's it at?
It is at TPEC,
Okay.
the Tony's Event Center.
8 to 5?
It is 8 o'clock's registration, 8:30 the event starts, and then I think we close at 4:30 if I remember right. Close 4 or 4:30 to allow people to kind of wrap up. But it's 6 hours for CLE. It's a little more than that for realtors, and then I don't know what the number is going to be for social workers. I'm imagining a little over 6 hours for social workers.
Realtors are getting CE on that?
Yes, and there's an extra fee for social workers to do it, because we have to send it off to a certified level of, and I don't know all the terminology for sure, but I think she's a master's level practitioner to certify it. So she asked there's an additional fee for her, but everyone else it's $30 to attend. And then if you want printed materials, it's $15. And then if you want the social work credit, there's a $20 fee to her. But that's the cost of it. So, and it's, I don't have I do have the numbers anticipated for CLE, 6 hours. And then I want to say 6.5 for realtors, something close to that. It was a little over 6. And I don't know on realtors yet what the potential amount will be.
Because I do realty in my spare time.
Okay, so yes, you will get you can have credit for that if you want to come and join us. We'd love it. And so with that, I do have flyers. So I'll pass these out for the commission, if I may.
Share it
Please, yeah.
Where's the mic?
Yeah.
Take one and
Barely.
pass it down.
Didn't know I had all this.
We
stuff.
would love to have anyone attend. Just let us know if you are planning. I know we've had a few. We have one from the AAB, and I think Commissioner Godsey here said he could be part of the day. You know, I would say if you can only come part of the day and help with the booth or something, the 2 times that would be the most are, you know, the beginning of the day before it gets started. You know, people tend to wander the booths, and then noon over the lunch hour. Those would be the most helpful times. But anytime, we welcome you to come.
Awesome.
Any other questions about it? We're looking forward to it.
No? All right. Thank you guys for putting all that together.
Okay.
All right, now we will move on to preliminary discussion items. And seeing none, we will go to unfinished. Yeah, go to unfinished or other business, and none there. We'll add some time for the public forum.
And I see no one is here.
And then I do not have any members of
Public.
members of the public, thank you, by Zoom.
All right, so the next thing is adjournment. Next regular meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, April 11th at 5:30 p.m. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.